What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
Hey, everybody. We're back. We're back with One Piece 1108. We're going to keep the same format from last week, where I'm live right now. The discussion will be live, but I'm going to turn on the reaction, which I recorded a little earlier. Okay? So here's the reaction, and then we'll get right into everything. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the pre-recorded section of this live stream. I'm in the chat, and we will discuss everything once this particular read-through is over. Okay, this is my reaction to chapter 1108. Last week was insane, all right? It was a game-changing chapter. If you were here, you understand all of the reasons why. If you read the chapter, you understand all of the reasons why. I do not expect any sort of update with the Blackbeard Pirates. I feel like Oda will probably just leave it where it is and skip past it, but I am not opposed to getting more. I will eat that content, and I am seated for it, but knowing Oda, I think he'll skip past it. He'll go back to everything that's going on. I'm okay with that too. We're wrapping up Egghead. That's how I feel. Let's get into this chapter. Ooh, look at this color spread. There's somebody missing, though. Oda, I mean, come on, man. Did you forget somebody? I mean, this is great, but... like, Uta is here, and Vivi is not? A Straw Hat crew member is missing, but Reiju and Tashigi are on this? And Uta? Hancock makes sense to me. Alright. Moving on. Sorry, that was page 1. So here we go. We're back outside, and we have, we're getting an update on the ships that are out here. Oh, okay, I was wrong right from the start. We are continuing from where we left off. Happy to be wrong. Happy. All right. So Katarina and Van Augur are pressing Caribou here. I like that Augur really, like, he's standing on business right now. Okay. Is he going to let them know that he knows about the ancient weapons here? Is that what's happening? Is this the bargaining chip he's going to pull? Next page. Yep. Yeah. He's definitely referring to the ancient weapons here. Okay, so this is him talking to himself. He's not saying this out loud. This is him basically relishing in what he actually knows. It would be really wild if Augur, like, just kills Caribou, and then this whole thing that's been strung along for, 10 years, who's Caribou gonna tell, blah, 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 and then it's just nobody. No, let's see. That would never happen, but it'd be wild. Alright. Looks like he got through to them. I'm on the next page, but just talking about this this, Caribou, Augur, and Devon stuff, not entirely necessary. And mostly here is a recap to remind casual audiences what Caribou knows. So, because I feel like everything here was pretty implied in the last chapter, but hey. Anyway, moving on. We're back outside again. More destroyed ships. We've got some Mark IIIs still shooting at other ships. Mark IIIs are using the bubble shields to block attacks. Marines are upset about them. And another ship down. Okay.
You loyal.
These Mark IIIs are really crushing things. Okay. Next page. Ooh. We're getting names. We're getting names. Names. Alright. So, we already knew about Bluegrass, but here is an actual Oda box for her. Then we've got Frake's real name. Which people thought this guy was... I can't remember the guy's name. But anyway, they thought he was somebody. Apparently he's not. Aw, Skunkman. That's a cool name, though. Yeah, that's cool. And there's Doberman. Okay. Alright, so now they're going to focus their attacks on Bonnie, apparently. Oh, man. Are these Vice Admirals actually going to do something, though, or are they just going to yell from the ships? Who's this guy running? Next page. Oh, it's Gigi Nuki. I'm probably still going to call them my names. Alright, so this guy's actually trying to do something. So apparently, this guy, if we're gonna start power scaling, this guy has CP9 techniques here. So he's of a different level. Looks like he's gonna do he's positioning himself like a Roku Ogon. Is Frankie gonna fight this guy? Oh, an axe came down. Is Brogy here? Well, hold on. Next page. There's the boys right there. They don't recognize them from the bounty posters because Frankie has the Sunny for his bounty poster. Oh my god. Oh. Alright. Frankie never met them. This is cool. This is cool that the first people that they run into are people that they didn't meet yet. So I'm excited for that. This is awesome. I love this. Next page. Alright. They're gonna protect these guys. That's great. Bonnie wants them to go help the other guys. This is so wholesome. I love this. I love this shot of Brogy. These trees in the background, it really reminds me of Little Garden, you know, like the tropical vibe also. Like the way Oda's framing them, like I'm the one that's getting a flashback here. Are they referring to Saul? Well, they're referring to somebody here. Okay. Alright, so they're passing Bonnie, Frankie, Kuma, and Atlas over to these other giants. And looks like they're going to get involved with everything with Saturn and Kizaru. So Frankie knows that these guys mean something to Usopp. That's great. Moving on to the next page. We're getting more names. Oda is just he's filling it out. He's letting us know everybody's name. We're not going to get this in an SBS later. We're getting it now, which is the way that I prefer to get this information. I'm gonna call this Oars guy Carl now. All right, it looks like they want to get involved, so I'm okay with that. Bluegrass is using her ride fruit to take control of this sea beast, and then is that Doll riding on it with her? Probably. Yeah, it's Doll. Oh. Ooh, that's a reveal.
It's about to get spicy.
That's a reveal. That's a reveal. That's a reveal. Ooh-wee. Okay, so Doll is definitely in her like late 30s, early 40s then. Because she was under Saul's command. That's spicy. I love that. Okay, yeah. Bluegrass just filled us in. So that's like potentially 2 references to Saul in the same chapter. Oh, okay. Sorry, I was reading into this part with the giants a little too much. So they're just literally above them in a different area. Okay. Moving on to the next page. This is definitely like the arc wrapping up, guys. Like, this is great. All right, so Vegapunk is once again doubling down that he should not be moved. And if only there were a doctor in the house that wanted to cure every disease that might be on a pirate crew. I don't know. What if there were, like, just random high-tech medical advancements and devices around with internal organs laying different places? I don't know. Maybe that would help, but who am I, right? Who am I to guess? I don't know. Whatever. So Saturn is back, and is this a different form? This man looks different. Luffy wants to get Vegapunk off the island because he promised. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh. This is big Bonnie for apprentice stuff right here. Vegapunk is trying to entrust Bonnie to Luffy's care here. That's... I mean, you know, you could still pass her off to the Revolutionary Army, but this is... There's some stuff there. Oh, wow. Sanji is definitely gassing up Saturn here at the bottom of this page. What is going on here with Saturn? Alright. Next page. Oh boy. Okay, Saturn is really on the attack here. Sanji has picked up Vegapunk even though he didn't want to be moved. Luffy's hilarious. Oh man, Kizaru pulled up out of nowhere to attack Sanji. Oh my god! Kizaru, you fiend, dude. Bro. This man just ran his sword straight through. Like, if there was any hope of Vegapunk surviving, he literally just got turned into a donut. Now we just need Kuzan to turn someone into a donut, and all three admirals will have done it by the end of the series. So I'm on the other side of the double page spread here. This is a big fail from Sanji. This is a misstep. Sanji just apologizes. Oh, man. Alright, Kizaru's on the move. Next page. Oh, who is this? Who is this magnificent beast? What have they awoken in a boy? What is this? Luffy has turned into some sort of giant creature and has grabbed Kizaru, much like he did before, but the look in his eye is way different. And then he's really putting Saturn in his place also. This gets the ascension. Okay. This Luffy line goes hard. Alright, other side of the spread here. Did Vegapunk put his consciousness into a machine so that if his body dies, he'll still be... I mean, he put his consciousness into six... I guess I'm not... Okay, so... I haven't read the whole page yet, but I mean, I think Vegapunk literally just died in Sanji's arms, and then that triggered something in this computer to activate Computer Vegapunk. Are we going to take Computer Vegapunk with us, like, the entire series? Like, are we going to put a computer on the Sunny, and then we're just going to have, like, a computer? Oh, are we going to have, like, Google and Ask Jeeves on the Sunny? I need that. This is actually a really cool development if this is what I think it is. Okay, so Vegapunk is testing things out. Oh, this man did figure out the internet. This is the incident. The incident is that he got word out. We talked about this being a possibility. Oh my god. Chapter 1109 is going to be... I mean, you want to talk about game changer. Like, if is Oda really about to give us the secrets of the world? Oh, wow. Oh, man. Oh, God. Okay. Okay. Okay, people. It's time for the discussion. Wow. Wow. Funhouse said L in the chat for Lanji. I mean, this is going to be everybody's W, though. This is going to be everybody's W if what I think is about to happen, all right? Shout out to Roger in the chat. Yeah, he took what I said and said that the Straw Hats are finally going to be able to play Elden Ring. Yeah, exactly. Although they've been playing Elden Ring this whole time. But, no, this is... It's just, it's so crazy because it's really a question of, are we actually going to get this lore drop? Oh, and by the way, I had no idea that my shirt would be so relevant. Yeah, I think Vegapunk is dead, guys. I think he hit it. I think he triggered a dead man switch and moved from the corporeal realm into the internet. He has transcended. This is the movie Transcendence. This is he's basically, I don't know, I'd love for him to just like become a part of the Sunny, and then he's like Kit from Knight Rider and Armin Zola from Marvel. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to go about this that are a lot of fun. It's a way for Luffy to keep his promise while Oda still gets to milk the emotional catharsis of killing Vegapunk. So this is just a normal fake out death. But with the context of this sci-fi realm and everything, that Oda's able to kind of backtrack and be like, well, I killed him, but he's still alive. You know, it's... I see what he's doing. I see what he's doing. Whether or not he actually leaves the island or not, we'll see. I actually wouldn't mind it. I feel like there could be a lot of, like, interesting gags. Especially if, you know, I mean, we saw, like, holograms at the beginning of this arc, right? What if it's a situation where, like, he's in this little sandbox of the Sunny, and he can just kind of force ghost himself, like, in hologram form and just kind of pop up and scare everybody, and everybody's just like, whoa, Vegapunk, he can't do that, and he's just like, oh, sorry, and then, like, disappears again. But there's, like, a room on the Sunny that is, like, the Vegapunk room where they can upload new poneglyph data and all this stuff, and he'll, you know, just spit it all out like the back computer. I don't know. It's... My mind is racing with a bunch of different, like, really interesting sci-fi possibilities for this. And, I don't know. But let's get these likes up, guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. Shout out to Scout Treese for rejoining. I love this. I love this. Yeah. Killer Comedies at Force Ghost. I love it. Yeah, I mean, that's... I've been waiting for some sort of, like, Force Ghost thing. I've been waiting for an Obi-Wan. I didn't expect it to be, like, literally Vegapunk, or that we would literally get a Force Ghost, but, you know, I've been expecting a mentor figure of Luffy's to die and then, like, have the propulsion of Obi-Wan in the story. Because, of course, Oda loves Star Wars, and... you know, we even had lightsabers in this arc. Now I think we're literally going to get a Force Ghost Vegapunk, guys. I actually do. I do believe that. With my whole chest. Conrad, member for 32 months, said world-shaking things coming. I hope so. You know, I mean, speaking of world-shaking, I don't know how much Vegapunk is actually going to be able to get out. Because I can see Emu trying to stop that message. Loyal. And, you know, we talked about it, you know, that this could end with a Leloucia-style event, but with this new added context, it seems even more likely. Maxo super chatted and wrote out a very elaborate, my research in bio. This man's joining social media. Yvette Noemi super chatted and said, betting $1 that 1109 will be real lore. I do want to talk about that. I want to get into that. I want to get into how I actually want this lore presented, because I don't want it to just be him telling us. You know, I mean, there's a way that Oda could do it where it'll work, but I want just a little bit more than that. And I'm definitely going to spend some time talking about that for sure. Just going to catch up on the past, the earlier chats and everything here. Vasil Vlad Ivanovici said, look up the Saturn devouring his son painting by Francisco Goya and look at the eyes. Also, did Sanji just confirm that the gorosei aren't human? I don't know if it's necessarily a confirmation, but I mean, it's something that we've all believed, and I feel like there are more implications than just Sanji saying it in this chapter that really imply that it's very possible that they're not. But I'm going to look up this Saturn devouring his son, Francisco Goya. This is scary. You guys have me looking at here. Ugh.
Savage.
Is this really what Oda's pulling from? I mean, I see where you're going with. Like, I see the... it could be a stretch, but it could also be something that Oda's pulling from. It's... most of the images, like, be careful, they are NSFW if you're looking it up at work, guys. Brandon King said, also, check Saturday and His Child by Francisco Goya. Looked at that. Shout out to Ty. I see Ty in here. Axo, Duran, Chin, Barry. I know. Let's see. Can I find it? Yeah, DJBJ32 said, good day, Cap, sending good vibes your way. Right back at you. And Container Productions said, let's go at the beginning of the stream. So shout out to you guys. Barry Motivated super chatted and said, I'm both vibrating with excitement and shaking with terror. It's been decades. What are we about to get? It's been a quarter century. It's been a quarter century. That's what we're dealing with. We're on like this roller coaster that's been going up, and if we're actually getting information in the next chapter, then that means the roller coaster is starting to go down, guys. You know, we got twists and turns, but we're about to go down the roller coaster. And shout out to Container Productions. Lavish bracket activity in the chat today. Appreciate you. Definitely hit the like button on that. Drop those W's in the chat. Container said this chapter was gold. Our boy Luffy casually stopping Kizaru and Saturn like the Yonko he is. He was in rare form. This is the Gear 5 Luffy that everybody wanted. Anybody that had reservations about Gear 5 and how silly it is and everything, like, this is the Luffy that they wanted to see. Angry Luffy. Like, don't mess with my friends, Luffy. I'm gonna put you in the ground, Luffy. That's what we're getting here. We're seeing that mixed with the Gear 5 energy. And I absolutely know that Oda is going to follow this up with something very goofy and silly, but it was nice to get this moment. And the one thing that I'm really hoping is that we look away and we kind of let this moment just kind of sit and linger and be the grand moment that it is, and we don't actually undercut it. And this goes back to what I said I wanted to get into also, and that is how I want this information presented. And the way I want it presented is, I don't know if Lavish Bracket played, but if, you know, I gotta make sure that I hit this. The lavish bracket, in a lavish bracket, gotta have it. I want to see it. Gotta have it. Beat my fabric. Don't want to just be told it. Pay my taxes. Trust me, you can track it. I would love if, as Vegapunk is giving us information, Oda omnisciently transfers us into the Void Century flashback. What he could do is, you know, we just hear the broadcast, we start, you know, we're on different people's faces as this is happening. Maybe he goes Decks of the World. Maybe we're at Water 7, Fuchsia Village. Here, there, everywhere. The whole world is learning about this. We're seeing Dragon and the Revolutionary Army. We're popping to the islands that were inspired by the Flame Emperor and all of that. and they're getting even more reinvigorated. And I think that this is how we actually tie in the Revolutionary Army here. They didn't come to Egghead, but what Vegapunk is doing here will galvanize the entire world. So it'll be the last piece in the puzzle for what Dragon needs to actually take down the government. Even if Vegapunk's message doesn't come out in its totality, in its entirety, we will get a situation where people will be inspired enough to understand that the government has been... I mean, you don't need to tell these people that the government is bad. You know, they're dealing with heavenly tributes and all of this stuff. But they just needed the confirmation that what they're thinking in their heads, that they haven't been able to speak out loud without any sort of consequence, is now actually something that they can act upon. Pick up pitchforks, do this, do that, whatever, and just start an entire war against the world government. This is what they've been trying to prevent. Because they know that the truth of this information will inspire people to take up arms. So this is how we actually get into the end game of all of it. And whether or not we do it in this Decks of the World style, which still could be interesting, and, you know, like, we kind of got a little bit of that when we saw the effects of what was happening with what happened to Lucia in the first place, where, you know, we did see Iceberg and, you know, some of these other characters reacting to the tidal waves. But what I need is something that really takes us full circle here. If Oda is trying to tell us that the truth of the world isn't the end game of the story, but is what propels us into the end game, then you might as well just give us the entire game. So what that means is we have seen Saturn react to Nika. We have been getting little drips and drabs of what Nika is in the Kuma flashback, in this, in that, whatever. But now we need to see who Nika was, so that we have context for it going into Elbaf as well, so we have context coming back into things that Saturn could say to Luffy while he's being grabbed. If we cut to and we see the original Nika, and whether Nika was Joy Boy or they were two separate people, doesn't matter, maybe that's a separate flashback. But it would be nice also to see Nefertari D. Lily, because we know that Morgan's implied that he's on his way to Egghead, which means Vivi's on her way. Emotional swell comes in. Vivi arrives, but we have even more context because we know who your ancestor was and what role you're actually going to play into the end game of the story now. Is that what Oda is trying to set up here? How much information are we actually going to get? That's a big thing. I could see Emu sweating in his boots, like trying to get Uranus or whatever the hell it is over to Egghead as fast as possible. And then lamenting because he can't see it explode because it's not close. Went off on a tangent. Let's see what the chat's saying. Again, get those likes up, like, comment, subscribe. If you're feeling the vibe, we're here. We are back. Chan said this is the Gear 5 that Morge wanted. Yeah. Pat said, I'm gonna rub some dirt in your eye, Luffy. Oh, big Bully Maguire energy. Big, I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me energy. Just a lot of energy. Brandon asked, do I think we're getting the Ancient Kingdom next chapter? We could, but I really would prefer that Robin gives us that information. That would be my preferred method of receiving that. So that's why I think this will be another situation where some of the information actually gets cut off. Saul was implied in two different places in this chapter. Unless the scholar that Dorian Brogy are talking about is someone else, then I don't know. It'd be fun if we're talking about multiple people, but I think the implication is that it's Saul. And it would be cool if while we're in a scene with Saul in the reunion with Robin, really tying into a full circle thing of the O'Hara flashback to begin with, that's when Robin tells us the name of the ancient kingdom, and it's kind of like, you know, the whale tree scene. So I don't want Vegapunk to give it to us. I'll take it. But I just think it would serve the story better if it's Robin that says it. Shout out to my guy Eric in chat. What's up, bro? Let's see. Just catching up. Doron thinks we'll get the flashback after this arc, like when we saw the Odin flashback after the second part of Wano. See, but that's also my concern, though. Because then it's loyal. It's the tell, don't show thing. Like, imagine a scenario where... I'll put it into this perspective. If Vegapunk just tells us all this stuff and we're just reading it, it's no better. And, you know, maybe this is controversial to say because I know Oda's a better writer than this, but it's no better than reading text spoilers of a chapter rather than seeing it. Like, imagine, here's an example. Wiper tells us everything that happened in the Nolan and Calgara flashback, instead of Oda drawing the Nolan and Calgara flashback. Like if Wiper just came out and knew all of the information already. He didn't, obviously. But if he just told us, like, Nolan wasn't a liar. You know? And it's like, yeah, I could see the end of a chapter with that. That could be cool. And it's like, oh man, that's a reveal, right? But how better is it to actually see it all in real time and realize by the end of that story, oh wow, he wasn't a liar. Trust that that you are smart enough to put everything together without having it being spelled out. That was my issue with the Caribou scene in this chapter. It was cool, but it was filler. It was for the casuals. Hey, do you remember that Caribou was there in chapter 550 or 650, and he was there for the reveal that Shirahoshi is actually Poseidon? Do you remember at the end of Wano that he was there for the information about Pluton? Yeah, well, if you didn't, I'm telling you right now. Whereas contextually, at the end of the last chapter, you could put that together yourself. There was nothing in that scene that was new. But it's fun. It's fun. But I don't want to know how this person killed that person or this happened in the Void Century. No. I want to see them doing it. I want to see the actions of these things. I want to be putting it together in real time and not being spoiled by the text of it all. I don't know if it's... I gotta look at the chat. I don't know if I'm being received right, but it's... I know that Oda can do it, and he'll still do it in a way where we'll be able to theorize and have fun with it, but I just would really love if we got this information from the Void Century flashback instead of Vegapunk's theory on it. Because whatever his theory on it is going to be 99% the truth, because he's studied it, he's a scholar and everything, and he may be off on one or two things or something, which is fun, but we're going to be able to take whatever he says as at face value. Even when he said his theory about, devil fruits and everything in 1070 something, it's that is what it is. That's Oda saying this is what it is, because this is the smartest man in the world telling you his theory. Shout out to Terrible TJ, member for 11 months, who said, like D-Stream. Listen to him. Listen to him, people. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. Shout out to my guy Maxo, who said, Luffy won't be laughing when Saint Warner Brothers rolls through and deletes his whole Toon movie. Oof. 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 Oh no. that hurts on a deep level. Because I don't know. You put all this time and effort into a project, and then they're just like, yeah, hey. Tax write-off. It's terrible. All those people wasted their time. There are some people that really probably thought like whatever work they did on that movie would have propelled them into, a new area of their career, but no one will ever see that. Same goes for Batgirl. I'm not going to get into all of that stuff, but I am not happy with any of that style of filmmaking. It's reducing art to just yeah, it's a business, but let's try and maintain the semblance of art there. Shout out to my guy Luke, super chatted and said, paying the sorry I'm late tax, great chapter. I hope the truth Vegapunk is sending is just that Emu exists and justifies the Revolutionary Army's actions. That I'm okay with. If it is that's a great way for it to, like if he doesn't get into anything about the Void Century, but just tells us, hey, there is a king of this world, someone who sits on that throne. They've been alive for 800 years, and they, wrought all this destruction and everything. And that is a great way, a segue to get into the flashback. I could see that, and then everybody's reactions to all of that information would be wild. But as long as we're not getting into the actual specifics of everything, it's like going back to the the wiper message. It's like I don't want the broadcast to be like, and then everybody was dying, but it was actually the trees and all the like. I don't want the specifics of everything. If it's very broad, great. If it's a timeline of events, we're getting murky. You're telling and not showing. Cesar Henrique Cop said, hi, Randy. Cheers from Brazil. Cheers. Appreciate you. Oh. Well, that's interesting. Beat Gamer 99 said, I really hope the Vegapunk exposition is transposed on panels of the ancient robot waking up and getting ready to attack Saturn. That's fun. I want the flashback to feel like the present. Yeah, to a degree. I want it to be able to be like analyzed and juxtaposed against the present. I want it to feel like we're inverting it at the same time. Tayante Black said, I wonder what Saturn, Mars, Topman, etc. had to do to become gorosei. Sell their souls or something? I don't know. Luke said, waiting to hear you say something I don't agree with. Well, then be more controversial. Stop making good points, man. Axo said, you know Zazzy is living up in Marie-Joie. Yeah. He's a bubble boy for sure. Luke said the arc's been 50% flashback so far. I want no more flashbacks. Yeah, I mean, there is an element that it could feel murky and cluttered, and since we just had the Kuma flashback and then going into another flashback, yeah. But I mean, like, if it's the flashback to end all flashbacks, then like, hey, I'm okay. I mean, that has been. I'm okay with getting that flashback, although when you look back at Egghead, despite all of the great things we were getting, structurally, not great from a writing standpoint. All of the back and forth and everything, like I think there's a way to maneuver everything to where it all feels a little more cohesive. But no, I disagree with you there. There you go. You wanted me to disagree with you. I disagree with you. I want one more flashback. Jin said, but Randy, how is Vegapunk broadcasting his death switch message to the world? Well, here's the thing. Vegapunk has been planning and plotting his death this entire arc from the beginning. We saw, I mean, the arc started with Shaka telling Dragon, hey, I'm going to die soon, right? So and then he has these 6 satellites that connect and send their consciousness into a main hub every day, except York. But, so like, Vegapunk being able to put his consciousness in a machine, that doesn't faze me. It tracks with everything that he's already been doing. Of course, he would have this. He put the failsafe into Kuma. Why would he put a failsafe into himself? So, he said that his dream, I think it was the same chapter where he asked Luffy to take him out to sea with him. He revealed, he had the big splash panel with his arms like this, and he was just like, I want to send a message across the world. So it seemed like he was saying it in a way that was like, I guess he's got to build that. That's why we were talking about, like, is Frankie going to inherit that will? Like, when we get to Laugh Tale, is he going to be able to send the message? But as it turns out, the whole island is probably a gigantic antenna that is now broadcasting his message, just like Uta was able to broadcast her stream in the film Red. So it's for the plot. It's the only way we're going to actually go down the roller coaster now, is if the world knows certain things. People get galvanized. The Revolutionary Army is able to make their moves. If everybody knows the truth of this world, they'll be able to rally against certain leaders. Dragon, Luffy, Garp, if he finally turns against the government. It's go time. Strap in. Vasil Vladivanovici super chatted and said, what if Blackbeard is the one to take down Emu? Live in the darkness, die by the darkness. Also, name of the ancient kingdom, the Pirate Bay. Yeah, the Pirate Bay. You have King Kazaa and Queen Limewire. What was that other one? Demonoid or something? Like, that's the true name of the gorosei, whatever that site was. I actually wouldn't be surprised if Blackbeard actually takes down Emu. I could see a spread, like a final page spread or something, where it's Blackbeard sitting on the throne. Say ha 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 ha. And like that's how a chapter ends, and he is king of the world. And if Luffy is there, it's like it's just, you know, it's like, what's a king to a god? You know, it's just it's just, okay, you're king of the pirates. I'm king of the world. I'm up here. Talal, thoughts on Sanji this chapter? I mean, he fumbled the bag for sure, but it needed to happen in order for us to get this Vegapunk information. Vegapunk was always going to die. I don't think that Oda had to do it in a way that really emasculated Sanji, but he tried. He was following Captain's orders, and there's a lot going on. Doesn't change the fact that, you know, he wasn't able to save this man, but that man was never going to be saved anyway because the narrative wasn't going to allow it. So I'm sure there's a lot of, you know, the Zoro fans and everybody that was like, you know, that was like that last week when Sanji, you know, kicked Light, and, you know, all those people that were getting put in, you know, in their place that are anti-Sanji, and, you know, it's just like, hey, I'm sure they were looking for anything this week probably to get on the internet and be like, see, Sanji sucks. I don't know. There's an element of fun in all of that, but I try not to look at the story that way. So it's just, I'm more, like I said earlier at the beginning of the stream, the L that Sanji took is everybody's W, because we may actually get an extreme lore dump of the highest level. Brandon King said, thoughts on Saturn's noodly arms? Is this his Impel Down Jailer beast form? Is this him making contact to let the devil out? I think it might just be his real form. And then he's able to transform, and there's a lot of stuff in Japanese mythology, which is all stuff that, you know, we dealt with in Wano, where, you know, like the Jirogamo, which is a spider yokai that's able to alter their body to look like a beautiful woman and then trap people. And then when, you know, a man that has been, you know, fallen into their gaze gets into, you know, their web, then they show their true form and turn into this gigantic, grotesque spider. That's what Black Maria was based on. This feels very similar to that, where much like a Jirogamo, this, you know, whatever this creature that Saturn is really this spider ox monster, this Gyuki, and he's able to transform as well. There's a lot of just Japanese mythology that's about being able to hide your true form and change and shapeshift. So I feel like that's just what Oda's leaning into, that these yokai and things like that are just real. Lucas said, I'm a wacky, waveable, inflatable, arm-flailing tube man. Saturn, probably. He ate the wacky, waveable, inflatable, arm-flailing, wacky, waveable, inflatable, arm-flailing Tube Man no me, right? Container Production said, I like how the original admirals live up to the animal part of their epithet. At least Akainu, lapdog, Aokiji, free like a bird. I don't know how Kizaru fits in. Well, his name is Yellow Monkey. So... I mean, monkeys are often attributed with the word wild. Wild like a monkey, wild like a baboon. But I don't know if that's the word that's being used here. I think it's more interesting that they're responsible for the deaths of major characters by turning them into donuts. You have a kind of with Ace, now you have Kizaru with Vegapunk, and I mentioned during the reaction that Kuzan's got to do it, and I saw the chat say, well, didn't he do that with Garp? And yeah, I know that we saw Garp with a big icicle popping up out of his stomach, but I still don't... I don't think that was actually like coming out from the ground through him and impaling him. I still think that was something that Kuzan planted on Garp to look like maybe he had done that. But what he was actually doing was cauterizing what Shiryu did to him. Saj Saab, member for 27 months, said, Force of Vegapunk is happening now. I am convinced. Yeah. Scotree super chatted and said, Morgans is about to get the scoop of a lifetime. He's close enough to hear all of this, even if the government tries to silence the broadcast. This is true. I could actually see Morgans being a little upset that he's not the one that gets to actually send the information out. I mean, unless he's a big fan of just getting the news out, it doesn't matter what the source is. That would make him a good journalist. We'll actually get an insight to Morgan's character by how he reacts to this. And now that you're saying that too, that means that we probably will be cutting to Vivi's reaction to all of this, and Vegapunk's reaction, and Morgan's reaction in the next chapter, and we are getting, I think, we would be, how does 109 end? I think it's 110. Let's see. Yeah, 109 is the chapter before we learn that Miss Wednesday is Vivi. So I'm still holding out hope that 1110 is a big Vivi chapter. Because that's when we actually hear her name for the first time. So it would be 1,000 chapters from that. That's still my prediction. Lisa Kulig said 1111 all Zoro, though. Absolutely. Mr. Bushido all the way. Evo Warrior, member for 33 months, said, according to the heart monitor, Vega should really be dead. Wild. I don't know if we'll get a whole lot now. Should find out most of the secrets on Laughdale. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. But, there's still an opportunity that, like, if the One Piece is just information, that we get all of that information, and then when we get to Laughdale, they're laughing because they already know everything. So it was pointless to go in a way. Shout out to Chin, member for 30 months, said Golden Globe, Screen Actors Guild, People's Choice Awards snubbed One Piece live action. I mean, I don't know if you say snubbed, but it's... Hey, we got recognized by the Writers Guild of America. You know, the Writers Guild Awards. So that's fun. Let the show build momentum, and, you know, not worried about it. Brandon King said, Randy, thoughts on the idea of Kizaru's laser hitting where Vegapunk was hit before, cauterizing the wound? I don't think so, but could be. No, it doesn't help the story. I actually like all of this stuff that, you know, we've been talking about, because it basically makes it so that the plot moves. The plot moves if Vegapunk dies. We've been talking about Vegapunk dying, you know, this whole arc. I thought maybe it would happen on Elbaf, because I figured that, you know, Luffy's promise would happen. That he would get him off the island, but he would die off the island. So here he's dying off the island, but he may actually leave the island if, you know, we do this Force Ghost thing on the Sunny. Alex said, what do you think will happen to Saturn after Egghead? Would be sick if the next time Oda shows us the Gorosei, Saturn never existed, and instead St. Figureland is the new Gorosei without any comment. That's kind of funny. In my mind, Saturn is the weakest of them all, so if he dies here or something, I'm not opposed to that. Like, I'm totally okay with Saturn being the Bluno of the Gorosei. We take him out here, he never becomes, you know, a thing later on. But with the reveal that Devon was able, you know, is now able to turn into Saturn, it kind of implies that he does need to live. Where at least his death needs to be ambiguous and completely unreported. I think it works for the story now only because of this Devon thing. It's not necessarily me saying I like this idea or you know, I co-sign this. But if he lives, Blackbeard has an easier shot of getting what he wants. Memoji said, any thoughts on Kizaru and Vegapunk having talked this out and planned since the start, since Shaka called Dragon to tell him to die soon, which is why Vegapunk smiled too. I think Vegapunk smiled too because he's been inspired by the D-Clan. He likely knows what the D-Clan is now. Not that he's necessarily a D, but he is, you know, embodying and inheriting the will of D. Now, I don't think that Kizaru is in on any of this, but I do think that Dragon is. Leo Legendario said, I feel like Vivi will bring all the nominations for the series. Lots of incredible scenes with her. Final Storm super chatted and said, I think in 1109 we'll get a name. We'll get the name of the Ancient Kingdom and Stella's face with a smile. End of arc. Dragon arrives, leaving flowers at Vegapunk's grave. This man just continually just dropping flowers and looking east. I mentioned this earlier. I don't want the name of the Ancient Kingdom yet. I want the name of the Ancient Kingdom to be uttered by Robin to follow the clover pattern. Unless Oda wants Vegapunk to be a stand-in for Clover. 2 old men, he gets to finish Clover's sentence. Maybe. But I need Robin to do something. It's a great moment for Robin. It should be Robin's moment. That's how I feel. Dragon leaving flowers at Vegapunk's grave? Absolutely. Totally gonna happen. Mike Thompson said maybe Bonnie is the narrator. Maybe. I personally like the idea of, I've always liked the idea that Usopp would be the narrator. That he's the one, at the end of the story, he's telling the story to, I don't know, maybe, Samadegi in the gang, Kaya, or something. It could be. I mean, I think it's looking pretty good for Bonnie for Apprentice, which I'm okay with. But I could see it being a thing where, like, we take Bonnie to Egghead. She's with us during Egghead, but then, we take Bonnie to Elbaf. E-names. She's with us on Elbaf. When the Revolution Army starts getting involved in everything, I think everything's going to be too dangerous or something, and we pass her off or something. Maybe. I don't know. Or Luffy just embraces everything, and he's just like, all right, kid, you're with us. Miles said, I think Vegapunk broadcasts Kuma's memories of certain events like God Valley and what life is like on top of the Red Line. True, the Emperor has no clue. Oh, that's actually really... If he was able to take the memories and then is able to project the memories, that's wild. Because everything would be POV also. So everybody would be seeing things happening from his eyes, from his lens, which would be really interesting. Very strange days to just double down on all of the different sci-fi properties that are being referenced here. Strange Days was a movie written by James Cameron, directed by Catherine Bigelow, that came out, I think, 1995. A very underrated movie where people's memories can be viewed. There's more to it than that, but Mike Locke said, he can't because the memories disappeared after Bonnie watched them. Yeah, but he had them stuck to a machine, so was he able to download them and, like, basically convert them from VHS to digital, and then they're just running around in a computer where he's able to send them out? It's possible. Anything is possible. If you dream it, you can do it in this world, okay? Vegapunk just died and he's alive. He's a ghost in the machine. Ouch. Miles said he made a big deal of experimenting on them, the memories, so who knows what he was doing with that paw before Bonnie showed up. Yes, who knows indeed. Gibbs/Seaway said Kuro and CP9, one of my favorite theories. That what he was doing was actually like he was actually using CP9 techniques that early. Like that's headcanon. That has never not been headcanon for me. Very motivated said, I want a panel of Vivi's reaction to seeing the Straw Hats with the Giants. I want to see Vivi now pull up to Frankie, Bonnie, Kuma, and Atlas as well, and she doesn't know who they are. So it's kind of like a reprise of what happened with Dory and Brogy. She may recognize Frankie maybe because he did have... Oh no, she wouldn't recognize Frankie anyway because all of his posters post-time skip have not been him. It was the Frankie Shogun and then now the Sunny. So that's fun. Just catching up here, guys. Dr. Jack said, I want Morgan's ship landing on Dorian Brogy's ship as a cap to the arc. Yeah, look, I've been saying, since even before Egghead started, that Vivi would be a part of Elbaf because she was a part of Little Garden. You know, I even had a theory for a while that she was being saved by Dorian Brogy because they know who she is, right? So if we actually get some form of that, like, I'm gonna be really happy because they do know who she is. They would remember her. They would protect her. And I love that. See a lot of talk about Wapple. Wapple is 28, guys. He doesn't look it. Just like Doc Q doesn't look 28, but he's also 28 or something. Killer Comedy TV said, hey, Randy, how many chapters of Egghead do you think are left? Do you think we'll wrap it up soon, or Egghead will be a bit longer? Oh, no, we're wrapping it up soon. I think by Elbaf, unless we do a Void Century flashback that goes multiple chapters or whatever, but if we don't do a flashback and we just get told everything in the next chapter, it's mad dash, get off the island because it's going to get Luciad, and then by the time we're at like 11:15, 11:16, we are already on Elbaf, which is 1,000 chapters from when Elbaf was mentioned and when we were on Little Garden. So I think that's what Oda's trying to do. So it'll be a structure that I see happening is 1109. Vegapunk starts dishing out a bunch of information, decks of the world, all of this stuff. We see that Morgans and Vivi are closer to Egghead than we thought. 1110, something with Vivi, because that was 1,000 chapters from when she was named and when Mr. Five and Miss Valentine's Day showed up and said that they were after her. So that could be Vivi either reuniting in some way with a portion of the Straw Hats, seeing the giants, something along those lines. Zoro, big chapter 1111, as everybody is getting off the island, he probably takes out Lucci and then is able to start running off the island before it's about to get eviscerated. And 11, 12, probably Luffy taking out Saturn or Kizaru in a way that they'll be able to get hit with this blast that's coming from Mimu. Then 11, 13 is like the outer portion of everything as we're trying to get away from the 100 ships that are outside, maybe. 11, 14, we've gotten away. It's all just the Straw Hats on the ship talking and reuniting with either Vivi, trying to understand what they're going to do with Bonnie now, talking to Dory and Brogy from afar, realizing that maybe Lilith is with them and she's creating some way to communicate with Vegapunk on the Sunny. 11:15, we see Elbaf in the distance. At some point in between all those chapters, an update on Dragon and what's going on in the world and how everybody is like taking up arms. And then 11:15, 11:16, like we're actually touching down on Elbaf and kind of getting a lowdown. 11:14, I think, is also the introduction to Robin. 1,000 chapters from Robin. I think that's it. I think that's when like she shows up on the Sunny. 114. So that could be when she like legitimately gets the information like that Saul is alive. Or it could be Dory and Brogy talking to her and saying, oh yeah, the scholar's name is Saul. We're going to take you to him. Yeah, 114 is that Robin chapter. So I could see her getting that information there. Or 114 is when Robin tells us the name of... 1114 is when Robin tells us the name of the Ancient Kingdom. So those are my like math piece predictions. Like that's the kind of stuff that I could see. Brian Field said, Oda will reveal nothing, and we will just get reactions to other people getting the information. That would be insane. Ahmed said, how would Robin know the name? She's been reading poneglyphs. If Clover knew the name, I wouldn't be surprised if Robin knew the name this entire time. Even 2 years ago, she knew the name. But she knew that it got Clover killed, so she's never said it. Every single one of those scholars should have known the name. Olvia should have known the name. Saul definitely knows the name. Vegapunk definitely knows the name. Dr. Jack said it would be funny mid-battle with Saturn and Kizaru. He just says, oh, hey, Vivi, and then Saturn gets his death wink ready, maybe. So, what you said there, made me think about if Vivi does arrive and then Saturn finds out, I could see him totally just leaving the fight with Luffy and changing his directive, because that's a direct order from Emu, is bring me Vivi. So then it becomes a situation where he is like beelining it for Vivi, and then Luffy has to protect Vivi from him, and that's fun too. And then they realize, like, oh wow, like, not only do we have to protect Bonnie, we also have to protect Vivi. But she's a big girl. I'd love to see Vivi Peacock Slasher Saturn. I need that. I need that just as much as I needed Frankie lasering Saturn. Wheezy Bird said leakers are already saying leave social media. Good lord. Oh. It's Sunday. How do they even know? It just bothers me.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
Like it's cool to hype it up and everything, but it's like, can I live? Can we live? Not everybody needs those text updates. This is the stuff I was talking about. Like, we just need to see the chapter. You know, at this point, I wish this was a break week. This would have been a great chapter for a break week. Let everybody, like, just kind of talk and everything, and then don't have... I don't know. Jacob said, can't just enjoy the series and be on the internet nowadays. Yeah. But it's also, like, why even make an analysis or a video for this chapter? Everybody's going to leave the internet, or no one's going to care because people already know what's happening in the next one. Why are we going to, like, watch people's videos? Don't worry, there's still going to be a video. Brian Fields super chatted and said, I really think we have to temper expectations for the next chapter. I really think we'll just get reactions from people to the info, not the info itself. And honestly, like, that may even be one of the best case scenarios. I do think we are going to get information. I don't want a lot of it. I want some of it to be saved. I want to be shown the information. I don't want to be told the information. So. Jin said, like how Cobra dies in the newspapers. Took years for us to know the truth. It gave us something to talk about, but you know what would have been better? If we never saw the newspaper, and then we just saw Emu kill Cobra. Because the thing is by telling us that someone died, 90% of the people were just like, yeah, it had to be Cobra. Dude was coughing on the way to the reverie. That's what I was saying. So when I saw that Cobra died, it was not a surprise when the newspaper revealed it. It was just like, oh, it's Cobra. Whereas, if Oda decided to not be precious with some of the information, and then, you know, instead of waiting, we actually got chapter 9-10, right? Instead of giving us Marco and Nekomamashi on Sphinx, it actually, like, continued the reverie. And then we see that Cobra died as we're going into Wano. Would have been way better. Would have been way better, because we would have been sitting there, we would have had the, like, oh my god, like, what just happened? Oh, wow. So, like, that is the problem with withholding information for too long. Because some things aren't precious. Some things are, but some things are not. You know? It's like when people are upset about Garp in the live action. It's not a precious reveal. It's actually better if the audience knows that he's a grandpa. So it's that kind of stuff. It's just, you know, we love these reveals and everything, and we love being able to theorize, but sometimes don't give me everything. Because I'm gonna figure it out. You're gonna figure it out. Killer Comedy said, Randy, we would get the island nuked before the biggest reveals to stop it too. Oh yeah, trust me. I would send out the the Lelucia myself. Stop, Vegapunk. I don't want it all. I need more time. I need more time. Did I see Parvision's video? He explains the reason why we barely see Dragon do anything is because he uses his powers to mask their home base so outsiders can't stumble upon it with the fog. That's interesting. TV in the Attic said, TCB saying spoilers wouldn't exist anymore is hilarious. We're back to leaks on Sundays already. Wheezy Bird said that the leaker said, my advice is to not read the spoiler for chapter 1109 if you want to enjoy and be shocked. Yeah, those people that fiend for spoilers are going to be like, yeah, I'm still going to read it. I love my tech spoilers. I love being told and not shown. Rafiq said, I like food, by the way. Me too. When this is all done, I'm probably going to eat some. Brian Field said, sorry, I got hella behind the stream. No worries. You're good. Ty said, Randy A. Smith over here. Hey, you know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
This is exactly what I've been waiting for.
You can't be serious.
Sylvan said 1109 spoilers already out. So I don't think the spoilers are out, but just like that the people that give spoilers are like, watch out for these spoilers. Uh-huh. This chapter is going to be a doozy. Stay off the internet. That's what it feels like to me. It's just goofy energy. Very Motivated said, we finally broke 200 likes. Keep it going, friends. The more engagement, the more the algorithm gets fed. That is true. That is true.
Come with me if you want.
And we
to
have
live.
been in sort of an algorithm jail that I feel like we are slowly being pulled out of a little bit. Thanks for all of the engagement on the last video. It helps. Thanks, guys. Brandon Norris said, why do you think they made the Seraphim out of the Warlords instead of all the Vice Admirals they had? Because most of the Warlords had fruits that I feel are much more dangerous than we're being told. And that they have fruits that are key to whatever the One Piece is, maybe. But also because Oda really just likes the Warlords. And he was able to tie it into different Japanese folklore around animals. So he gave all the Warlords an animal theme: crocodile, hawk, whale shark, boa, gecko. What am I missing? Bear. I'm missing one or two. But you get the point. Anyway, and then Sentomaru being able to control them. He is the avatar of Kentaro, which is a folklore about a kid who can control animals. So S-Bear, S-Snake, all that stuff. So that's why. It's just Oda. It's not anything logic. It's not something that you have to logically think about. It's just Oda likes these characters and he's following folklore. Doflamingo. I forgot about that. Six said, I'm turning into Nika. You're getting a rare version of Randy today, guys. Do I think that Piranha managed to save Moria? I do, and I think that they're both heading to wherever Cross Guild is. So if they're still at Empty Bluffs, they're going there. Whatever, Moria's joining Cross Guild, and so is Piranha. Derek said that he was rereading Shibandi and was really getting the impression Bonnie was always Nakama. Yeah, when I reread, it was going back and finding some interesting elements to it. I love the idea, like, if Bonnie does join, I love the idea that it's a character that was introduced to us pre-time skip. Like, that's one of those things that, like, people can brag about, right? It's the same way that it is, like, some of the early things that we used to brag about when we were, like, in Impel Down. It was like, wow, like, this Jinbei dude was introduced in, like, chapter 53 or something. And, now we're actually seeing him. How much of a goat is Gota that he had almost 500 chapters in between, like, the visual of this character and seeing this chapter. And then chapter 500, Rayleigh, but then you go back to chapter 19 and there's a guy with the same beard. He knew about this entire time, right? But then it'll be the same thing where it's just like, wow, this person who joined the Straw Hats as an apprentice actually was introduced like 500 something chapters later, and no one thought that this was going to happen back then. And then it's just like the weird twists and turns of everything. And then it's like, we add a Shichibukai to the crew with Jinbei, a warlord, and then we add one of the worst generation that was introduced in chapter 498, 499, something like that. So then it's, I don't know, that's cool. That's cool to me. So from that perspective, like, I like it. But then it's also the same thing where it's like, hey, this character from pre-time skip also that said, hey, if I see you again, are we still crewmates? Comes back in the post-time skip, and guess what? They're crewmates again, Vivi. So it's like, it's all coming together. Barry said, excited for Perona to have her new family with her 2 dads. Lucy B said, Bonnie saved Zoro on Sabati and asked, where's the little girl? Yeah. We've been talking about that particular scene a lot this arc. Yeah, and Bonnie's got to see the Sky Islands, got to see Fishman Island. We're already going back to Fishman Island. That is, that's like a guarantee. Then another Sky Island. I mean, probably when we're in Elbaf, there's going to be like a sky element to Elbaf. Because the giant tree will go up. It'll be like Giant Jack. So that'll be something great for Bonnie to see. And it'll essentially be like everything that people wanted out of Carrot joining the crew and having this person that is like, seeing the world with these wide eyes and everything. You're getting it through Bonnie because Bonnie is literally a child. So it's, that if anybody wants to compare what Bonnie being a part of the crew would actually be, it's Carrot. It's what everybody wanted out of Carrot. Ultimately, like, my favorite part of this chapter was the Vegapunk stuff, like, from a theory perspective, like, oh my god, like, this stuff is cool. But the seeing the giants, like, that was super wholesome. Dory and Brogy, the Bruiser axe coming down by Bruiser Brody, and just looking at Frankie and being like, "Prairie crew, okay, cool. I don't recognize you. I looked at those bounty posters, but I'll take your word for it." Oh man. Oh, what kind of a magnifying glass did they have to use to look at those bounty posters also? Yeah. Take a look at this chapter again, see if there's anything yeah, this color spread needed Vivi. The Reiju and Toshigi of it all is very spicy though. Oda, you mad lad. We talked about the Caribou scene. It's filler. All of these different fonts for the Vice Admirals is just insanity. But okay. I want to know why Doberman has like a computerized one though. The coolest one is Guillotine, formerly known as Skunkman. That's a cool font. Hound has like the font that Oda, I feel, usually uses. Bluegrass's font is crazy. Tosa. Yeah, I love the scene with Dory and Brogy. Like, I in the reaction, I'm sure I had like a big smile on my face when I saw Brogy say, those are some familiar names. I want to get the names for other guys on their crew, and I also want to know if they're all going to be like old 80s wrestlers also. Because that's the inspiration for Dory and Brogy, if you guys didn't know. So Brogy is Bruiser Brody, and his axe has been confirmed to be called the Bruiser Axe. So Oda's not hiding anything there. And Dory, his sword is the Terry sword. And Terry is the real name of Hulk Hogan. So that's the prototype for Dory. Dory is supposed to be Hulk Hogan. So every time you see Dory, just imagine him coming up and being like, "Hey, brother." And then I've heard people say that Hajrodin gives them like Macho Man Randy vibes. I could see that. And it's like, that's like kind of a different generation, like a part of the New Giants. You have like Goldberg, like obviously that was a wrestler as well. And so, you know, it's like, I want to meet which one is going to be is Ric Flair. Woo! You know, and I think one of them was confirmed to be named Eric, which would be like the Von Erichs, like Iron Claw and all of that. But I could see also Oda doing a thing where it's Flair, but it's actually like with an R, so you'd have one named Fryer or something. Isn't there one named Fryer? I don't know, because if that's the case, I don't know. I'm going to Wikipedia the Giants. Let's see. One of them is named Road. I'm not sure who that refers to. Not everyone needs to, you know, like actually be a wrestler, but like that is definitely like something that he highly considers. It's not that every giant needs to be it, but definitely like every giant on the Giant Warrior Pirates is going to have to be like an 80s wrestler. So, I just need one of them to yell, "Woo!" Loki's about to be the Undertaker. My guy Dan DiCarlo, Dusty Rhodes. There you go. That's why one of them is named Road. Jansetsu Giants designed based on WWE wrestlers. Yeah, exactly. I was like cream of the crop. It rises to the top. So hey, you know, if you gotta be, if you want to be the man, you gotta beat the man. Need a bunch of, you know, just Randy Savage and Ric Flair lines just coming out of these guys' mouths. Lucas said, in my mind, there's a 0% chance Bonnie lets the hero of her father and the person she searched for literal years get away. Yeah, it feels right. It feels right. Miles said, Carrot. She's doing everything I did, Bonnie, but better. seeing a lot of people who didn't know that wrestling information, so that's fun. Yeah, I'm slowly but surely, like working on a video of Oda's inspirations and things like that. And it might be I'm either going to do it in parts, or it's going to be like a super, super long video where I just go through everything. And it is not going to come out anytime soon, but it will come out, and I'll pull all of these pop culture references and everything that he's got in this story. So Rox is Dwayne The Rock Johnson confirmed. Yeah. Salak Forn said, I thought Whitebeard was Hulk Hogan. So there's multiple iterations of different things. Just as Smoker and Kuma are both Arnold Schwarzenegger, Dory and Whitebeard both have elements of Hulk Hogan. Dory was the prototype, just as Smoker was the prototype for Schwarzenegger. Like, even Smoker, like, doesn't have any eyebrows. Like, Arnold didn't have eyebrows when he played the Terminator in 1984. So, and then Kuma being an actual cyborg is, tying into, like, the Terminator aspect of it all as well. Barry, are you laughing at the eyebrow thing? Lucy B said, YouTuber Eruption Fang did an amazing video on One Piece video games. You know what's funny? Like, that was something that Chrissy said to me, was like, hey, you should do that I should do a video on One Piece video games. But I mean, if someone's already done it and it's good, like, I don't need to do something like that. Spandam with the Mankind mask. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's so many wrestling things. Like Oda is definitely a fan of wrestling. And not only that, though, it's actually like Japan specifically, they were big fans of wrestling, especially in the 80s. Like, I don't know who here has seen Iron Claw with the Von Erichs and all of that. Like, there was a whole segment of that movie where, like, they were traveling to Japan. I mean, they didn't follow him to Japan or whatever, but it was a plot point because of, like, how big, the wrestling is. So now I have to add a whole wrestling section to this inspiration thing. What was it? Lucy, I took your advice from one of the past streams or whatever, and I started watching the the Mom Piece videos. And it's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm at... I'll just throw it on in the background while I'm doing some other work. I think I'm at... I'm at Ennie's lobby with it now. Barry said we used to watch Monday Night Raw religiously. Yeah. Feral Anarchy said you saw Dory as Hulk Hogan and not Terry Funk. He could be Terry Funk also, but I just get more. It's a deeper dive because it's Hulk Hogan's real name, but maybe Terry Funk is a little more like era appropriate, but it's. I don't know. It could be either. Obviously, Brody is they're uncontestable. Bruiser Brody, but maybe it's an amalgamation of Terry Funk and Hulk Hogan. In PDX, Randy, would you re-release the Nika shirt? Oh yeah, did I not put that back in the store? Yeah, I could do that. But I think I'm going to start wrapping things up here, guys. Look out for the analysis this week, which will be mostly just me rambling about different things that Vegapunk can do, and it's going to be very last page centered, but thinking about the future. And thanks so much for all the engagement, guys. It's we're trying to switch things up. Get out of this algorithm jail, get back into the rotation, It's tough. Talking about topics, days after people are already done with talking about them sometimes. But not you guys. And I appreciate you guys still coming here after read the chapter, I don't know, whatever day it comes out now. A quick Avatar: The Last Airbender live action thoughts. Haven't watched it. Unfamiliar with the original property, so I probably will not be watching it. Eventually, I would like to watch the original. Might be something I do with my son at some point. I don't know anytime soon whether that's going to happen, or but so no thoughts. Barry said we'll help however we can. Thank you, Barry. So thank you, Randy. As usual, much appreciated. Appreciate you guys. Like, I love our community. I love that a bunch of you hang out outside of the streams, in the Discord and all that too. Like, that's so much fun. Did I watch Dune 2 yet? Is it out? I thought it comes out next month. thought Dune 2 comes out in March. What are we talking about? Did I watch Dune 2 yet? It's out this Friday. Well, isn't this Friday going to be March? Yeah. Yeah, technically next month is this week. DK say best community ever. Eh. Do I have a community button on this board to just make a community joke? I probably do, but I don't remember which button it is. Thank you for reminding me that Dune 2 does come out. That means I have to rewatch Dune 1 this week. Oh, man. I got to see an early screening of Dune 1, but not Dune 2. So, I got to tell Denis Villeneuve how much I loved Blade Runner 2049, which is still one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, I'm excited for this. Walken's in it. This was like a painful push, you know, because this movie was supposed to come out, I think, in November. I'm just like waiting for it. Barry Superin said that Savage crop circle is staying on that D&D map. So a couple people from the community, they have a D&D group, and I jumped into it, and then I saw that you could draw. So like while I was in there, I drew Savage on the thing. It's basically graffitied their game for fun. So Miles said 2049 was underrated, underappreciated. Gosling was great. Sound effects are stunning. The movie is amazing. If you guys have not seen Blade Runner 2049, like, it is a slow burn, but it's so good, and it is such a it's such an inversion of the chosen one trope, because you're watching a character that thinks he's the main character the entire movie, and then has to have a realization that he's not, and that's like, it's so phenomenal. And it's like when I went to a Q&A with Denis for for Dune, I realized that everything that he loves about Dune is what he was putting into Blade Runner 2049, because he's always wanted to make Dune. And the main character in Dune is also on this journey of like being the chosen one, but having to deal with this idea of, am I the main character? Am I not the main character? It's cool. But I think a lot of people that saw Blade Runner may have not taken the same appreciation for the subversion that Denis Villeneuve did. I'm going on to like a film analysis talk that has nothing to do with One Piece, but it's just a really good movie. And it's like, it's subversion not for the sake of subversion. Like, subversion for the sake of subversion is like The Last Jedi. You think you're going down this path, and then it's just, no, the princess is in another castle just because I want the princess in another castle, not because it makes sense. And I'm using the princess in another castle as like a metaphor for just bad choices. But the choices in Blade Runner 2049 are so well woven in that it's a great movie. He said, it stays Dungeon Master Vern 2024. Kip said The Last Jedi ruined Star Wars. It still hurts. Yeah, it still hurts me. It hurts Chrissy. Star Wars was probably Chrissy's like number one franchise, like her thing. Like she loved Star Wars, and now like because of The Last Jedi, and forget Rise of the Skywalker, but because of The Last Jedi, she does not think of or look at Star Wars the same way. It's almost, it's not dead to her. She still loves the originals and the prequels and all that, but it's like the fervor that she had for that franchise is gone. And that's the thing that like people have to realize and kind of consider as they go into these reboots and things like that. Is just there was no cohesion between all of those Star Wars movies. They had no idea what they were going to do. They had plans and stuff. Like originally, it was actually supposed to be that Rey was going to be a Kenobi. That was the early trajectory, and then they ended up changing that. Would have been better if she was a Kenobi. It would have been better if they never made the movies at all. But that first movie. What is it? Force Awakens. It's just a beat for beat copy of A New Hope. Everything happened. Like if you just put the movies side by side, everything happens at the same time with different characters. That's all it is. Beat for beat, the same movie. The same way that Skyfall is kind of beat for beat The Dark Knight. If you start thinking about it and all of that, you'll be like, oh wow, these things are really the thing. It's like even the two movies, Force Awakens and New Hope, they end the same way, they start the same way, they still have the same ups and downs. It's just J.J. Abrams copying things. That's all it is. It's like, this is what people want. It's like, no. Like, build upon the world. Don't give me the regurgitated same but slightly different thing. That's not what it is. And then because that was what happened, then Rian Johnson was just like, well, I'm going to give them something completely different. I'm going to send them down this road, and then, oh, you know what? They're thinking we're going to go over here, but no, I'm going to go this way. It doesn't make any sense, but it's going to be okay because people are going to say, oh, wow, he went that way instead of going this way. No. It's dumb. Don't do that. Oh, I'm going to do it again and again. And you know what? By the end of the movie, nothing happened. Oh, and such and such happens to Luke Skywalker. And I'm going to take this character that was full of hope and everything, and like one of the greatest main characters of all time, and just ruin him. Yeah, I have the PTSD too. Jacob said, Randy, were you a fan of the animated X-Men 90s series? Sure. I have like almost all the action figures when I was a kid. It was Batman the Animated Series, X-Men, Power Rangers. We had all that good stuff in the early 90s. And I'm excited to see what they do with X-Men 97 when it comes out. They better have the theme song. They better not change that. Like, there is no need. There is no need to change that theme song. It is perfect, no notes. Arguably the best theme song of all time. It's just... Disney's got to figure out all those rights stuff and everything like that, because it's like Chrissy's even on like a little MCU ban right now. She literally, like, I don't know, this was like, we went to go see Multiverse of Madness, and we both hated it. It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And after that, she was just like, wake me up when the X-Men are in a movie. So we'll probably go see Deadpool 3. I've seen everything. I still watch it, even if it's not great. And but Chrissy, no, she has not watched any of the movies since Multiverse of Madness. She's just. And when the when the X-Men pop in, then she'll just be like, okay, I'm back. Yeah, I don't know if we've gone into it before and everything. I also said I was going to wrap up this. I mean, we're just having like a post chat that has nothing to do with One Piece right now. But for those who have stayed, hey, I stand by this with Multiverse of Madness. Some people think it's really cool that we got John Krasinski and Professor X came back, and we got that group. Mordo, the inversions of Captain Marvel and Captain America. Great idea. But the thing is like, what you did is you nerfed everybody's mind, in their mind of what Mr. Fantastic is, who's really like an Omega level superhero. Turned him into pasta. How are we ever going to take him seriously when Pedro Pascal comes in? And what it should have been is one other world, an extra 10 minutes of the movie, where you find like really awful versions of, and this inflates the budget a lot because you have to bring back actors, but you kind of do a what if thing, like what they do with What If, but it's like you meet these awful versions of Hawkeye, Thor, Ant-Man, like characters that we already know, but you just change them slightly, and like those are the ones that you like axe. Like if you need Wanda to do all of this stupid stuff, which actually you didn't need to do, you did not need to ruin one of the best characters that you created. But if you needed to ruin her and turn her into a murderer, have her murder characters that everybody already loves. And then you go to a separate world, because it's Multiverse of Madness, right? And you need to go to multiple worlds instead of just 2 or 3. Yeah, you have that little scene where you're going a bunch of million times into different things. But yeah, that's cool for a second. But that's just one long VFX shot. I don't feel the madness. And then you go to this other world, where now you have John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. You have Professor X. You have these inverted versions of everything, just like they had at the end of Mrs. Marvel, where the Marvels, where you brought back the Captain Rambo version of Captain Marvel, who, I guess we're in a different universe, right? Where she's a good character. You make those the characters that help Doctor Strange. You make those the characters that figure out the way to stop Wanda. Because they're new characters, they're different characters. You're trying to elevate these characters and show that they're on par with this other universe. You don't kill these cool, new, different characters because you're just hurting anytime you want to do something different down the line. You kill the characters that everybody already loves because they already know in the back of their head, oh, well, we've got the good version, so forget this multiverse. So that scene that a lot of people love and all of that is the scene that I hate from that movie. Barry said Chrissy's like me. My time is too precious to waste on garbage. Have I watched Web too? Oh, when I said I watch everything, that doesn't include the Sony movies. I've still not watched Morbius. I'm probably not going to watch Craven. Chrissy kind of, like, is really, like, I don't know if she's being facetious, but, like, with all of the hate that Madam Web is getting, she kind of wants to hate watch it. So maybe she's waking up a little bit. But I don't know if I have it in me to watch that movie. So, I don't know. Meanwhile, I watched all of the TV shows. Some of them were good. Some of them. Hawkeye was my favorite. So. I feel like we've gone through everything for this week, guys. I am really excited for 1109 and whatever that entails. And I am pumped to share that with you next week. Look out for the next video. Drop a like on that. Keep the algorithm happy with us. And that's it. Wild chapter. Wild implications. And Demon Time Luffy. Chin said, does Avatar interest me? James Cameron's Avatar interests me. Miles said, felt like I was the only one who vehemently didn't like Multiverse of Madness. It was almost sacrilegious for me to not like a Raimi film. I mean, do you really like Spider-Man 3? Aside from, like, the Mimi Bully Maguire aspect of it? Sam Raimi, you know, he gave us Spider-Man 1, he gave us Spider-Man 2 and all that, but I don't think he needs to be in the MCU. And I am very worried that he is circling, like, the Secret Wars movie. I just... Him and the car that he wants to put in every movie, I go do something original, please. So I don't think he's, you know, a bad director by any means, and Spider-Man 3 was muddied with studio interference and all that. He just wanted it to be Sandman. But Multiverse of Madness was not great. I also have felt like I'm one of the only people who doesn't like the movie. And when I say I don't like the movie, I really don't like the movie. Should have stopped at 2, left his jersey in the rafters, but here we are. Yeah. We could have retired that jersey. But it's still active. Yeah. Anyway, said I was going to go. I'm going to go. Thanks, guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe.
Come with me if you want to live.
Remember,
Together we're stronger. Together we're stronger.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.